Hey guys, hey Dylan. Dylan Carpenter, he's like a Facebook ad person. He does Facebook ad agency, and he just dominates with, he used to work for Facebook and then he left. I think that was the case. Hey Dylan, hey guys, everyone who's joining, hashtag live if you're here live, and smash that heart button so the rest of the group knows that this interview is going on. If you have any questions about paid traffic, about anything related to paid traffic, that's what I want to focus this interview on. But first of all, I want my group to know who you are, Nathan. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, an origin story?
Yeah, you bet. So I'm actually based in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay.
Do what?
I can hear myself through your thing.
You can?
Yeah, like an echo. Is your volume on?
Oh, that's why. That's why.
Okay.
Because I opened the live thing up on my phone to see the comments.
Okay.
Just a sec. I'm turning it off. Okay, it should be good now.
Hey,
yeah, I opened it up to see the comments on the live. Anyways, I'm based in Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas, which is right in the backyard of Walmart. And I grew up, like my dad was in Walmart, my mom was in Walmart. Like it's just when you grow up in this area, you're Walmart people growing up for the most part. So went to college, got my business degrees. I got 2 degrees in business, came back up here, started working for an agency that does Walmart shopper marketing. And I was actually on the Energizer personal care team. We managed it. It fluctuated between $5 million and $10 million a year for the Energizer personal care brand group, which is like Shhhhh razors, Edge Pro Gel, Hawaiian Tropic, Banana Boat, Skintimate for women, Playtex. We had a bunch of brands. And the thing about these brands is that they do stuff on a national level and they don't want to deal with Walmart. So they pay agencies in Northwest Arkansas that are based here that have relationships with the Walmart people. I mean, my wife is in Sam's Club home office. So you pretty much know somebody and you get to know the team members and all that. And these brands don't really want to deal with that stuff. So they pay agencies to do that. So I got a lot of experience with like high level budget advertising, buying media on different levels, whether it was digital, whether it was print, tons of different media that we bought. Like I think the biggest piece of media that I bought was a $1.2 million Super Bowl commercial.
Oh my gosh, you bought a Super Bowl commercial? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was 30 seconds long. It was 30 seconds long in the 2015 Super Bowl. Yeah, it was 2015 or 2016. I think it's 2015. Anyways,
wow.
Shhhhh was trying to compete with Gillette. So Gillette Fusion does everything with athletes. They've got a bunch of like big time athletes as influencers and endorsements and, you know, all these dapper football players and everything holding the razor up. And their budget was about $25 million a year and ours was about 5 to 10. So we couldn't really compete with them toe to toe. We had to like kind of figure out different ways of buying media, different advertising solutions to compete with a lower budget. And one of the things that I found out while we were doing that is that social was cheap. And so I started getting into Facebook ads, started getting into Instagram ads, and just realizing that there's other things out there because for the most part, social was at that time paying influencers for posts. So you pay an Instagram influencer $5,000 to make a post. And it's like, I figured out that I can basically make an ad, put a $5,000 budget behind it and get way more impressions, way more engagement than the influencer stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I got into Facebook ads and Instagram ads it was through corporate experience that kind of led into the whole Facebook thing.
Oh, wow. Cool. Hey guys, I'm looking this way because that's my second monitor. Hey Kevin, thanks for joining us. Hey Jeff, hey Trey, hey Dave, hey Motion. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hashtag live if you're here live and smash the heart button. We just heard Nathan's story, origin story. He started off with a lot of his family working for Walmart, and then he started getting into the corporate world of advertising, buying sometimes back in 2015 like an ad for Super Bowl. So he's involved in these big media buys. And then he saw that Facebook ads and Instagram ads or Instagram posts, influencer posts were cheap. And that's the way to go with a smaller budget. 5,000 is still a lot of money for a lot of people. So it still is a bump change right there. But and you know, I actually saw a keynote from Gary Vaynerchuk. He was on stage and he's like, I've been telling everyone to buy Instagram ads and Facebook ads for the past 3 years. I've been saying it over and over again. He's like, you guys should be afraid the moment corporate listens to me, someone like me. And I want to know how you feel about that. Like, or is corporate already entering into, you know, the Instagram social media influencer world for a while already? It sounds like from your experience that they've seen that method and they're moving towards that method already.
Yeah, it's a slow process. So here in Northwest Arkansas, everything, I tell everybody, everything moves the speed of smell in Northwest Arkansas. Like, it's like with the Walmart suppliers, for the most part, they won't do something until another supplier does it. So like it has to be kind of a domino effect. Like one person will get some success with this strategy and it'll kind of get through the grapevine, and then all of a sudden everybody starts doing it. And so really, like, if you just kill it one time with a big brand, these other big brand VPs and executives start to talk about it and all that good stuff. Gary, though, is absolutely, like, he's the biggest, I guess the biggest name that's been promoting it for the past few years. And VaynerMedia has, they did some stuff with Unilever, which is right down the road from me. Unilever was a competitor of mine, and they've done some stuff with Procter & Gamble, I think, maybe Coca-Cola, Heineken. But, I mean, VaynerMedia has done some good stuff with these bigger brands. What a lot of these big brands think they want is like, it's usually website optimization. It's usually very, it's very high level stuff. Like they don't want, like when you say Facebook ads, they think you're some 16-year-old bedroom, like, you know, boosting posts on your phone and, look at that. No, like that's what they think. And I've been in all these different boardrooms in the area, basically telling all these high-level executives, like, these vendors that we were paying for, let's say 1 million to 2 million impressions, we were paying roughly $150,000 for a campaign for them to run some banners on like menshealth.com or southernliving.com. They would buy those banners that you see all along the little, on the right column and on the header and all that stuff. They'd buy that banner space, and in return, we would have to pay them about 150 grand for 2 months worth of campaigns. Well, the thing is, like with Facebook, you can basically get impressions for less than a penny.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's targeted. And that's the great thing about Facebook, is that what I was seeing in the agency role that I was in is that everybody was moving towards targeted stuff. They wanted something that was super zeroed in on their customer profile. And in Walmart, that involves all the scan data, like all the receipts and stuff. Basically, every time an item is scanned at Walmart, it gets thrown into this database of data where all across the U.S. there's like 50 to 60 Walmart super centers that are known as like the testing super center. kind of where the demographics are.
Yeah.
And what they do is they compile this data, and then at the end of the quarter, all these brands get together and they decide, okay, this super center is heavy in this demographic, this super center is heavy in that demographic, and they start to get all these analysts involved. Like what I was doing was largely an analyst role, and I had to take apart all this data all the time and figure out like where our customer profile was relative to where they were shopping at Walmart.
Yeah.
And what I figured out was that I could, like, as I was working through the Facebook Ads Manager backend, playing around with it, I figured out that I could do exactly that in the back end of Facebook and target somebody that was literally the exact customer profile that we wanted. And so, I mean, it's just, I think brands are going to they're going to figure it out, but there is some reluctancy because it's not a proven strategy yet. Like for the big brand, you know, SEO and Google traffic and all that stuff, like that's keyword search. That's kind of their bread and butter right now. But I will say eventually they're all going to start moving towards the social platforms. You're seeing a lot more on like Snapchat. You're seeing a lot more on Twitter. You know, you're just seeing a lot more that these brands weren't doing 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I feel when Gary said that, I felt like, oh, I don't know if it's true or not. So I'll ask the experts. I'll ask people like you. And guys, hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. If you're here live and you have questions about ads, let me know if my sound is okay. I'm like moving my mouth closer to the microphone. You guys said that my sound is low, so I just moved into this room in the house, and I'm like trying to figure everything out still. But
get the acoustics down.
Yeah. But if you have any questions, let us know. Am I bothering you? And I want this interview to be very interactive. Hello. I'm too loud for your dog. Need to go up. Trey says, any expert insight on paid traffic for real estate agents besides Facebook? That's an interesting question.
I'm going to be honest with you. The first job that I had in Facebook ads was in real estate. I helped build a guy's company with him. He hired me, and I kind of grew within the company, but he's a big time real estate or Facebook for real estate guy. He's a big name in the, I'm not going to go too much into it, but he's a big name in Facebook for real estate. I'll leave it at that. But the guy is killing it in real estate with Facebook because it's so much cheaper than everything else. So paid traffic on Google, for instance, the problem with Google and real estate is that in the local market, depending on where you live, there could be anywhere from 200 to 2,000 real estate agents within 5 blocks of each other. It just depends on the area, because you could be in the Midwest or you could be in these coastal cities like LA, Florida, New York, stuff like that, super populated areas. The great thing about Facebook is that there's enough impressions to go around. And so anybody that's really good at targeting on Facebook ads and knows how to make a really good strategy with real estate kills it with Facebook ads. So for instance, I'm going to give you, Trey. I'm going to give you a little tip. This is my strategy for real estate. You can find this. Here's the thing. Back in 2016, I was the first person to approve lead ads for under $3 a piece. Ad Espresso, Digital Marketer, and all of these people were saying that lead ads didn't work because it was relatively new at the time. Anybody that was around at that time, the lead form on Facebook was just not working very well. And part of my job was the research and development side of things for these real estate agents. And I started testing some strategies out. One thing that I found is that a lot of people in the real estate space are targeting based on super broad targeting terms. So it's like, anybody that's looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, shit like that, like that's easy. That's easy. Every real estate agent's going to do that. If you can make a complete funnel, I'm talking top to bottom with Facebook and Instagram for your real estate business, you can really take over some market share, because at the top level, you can target based on more things than just people going to Zillow and Realtor.com. You can target based on people looking at mortgage calculators. You can target people based on looking at credit scores. You can target people based on the area that they're in. One of the things that I kind of came up with was the zip code targeting, that I'm not sure Facebook seems like they're going to move around and not be able to target with zip codes for real estate in the future. But what people need to do in real estate is they need to get their data. They need to get the data of all the homes sold in their area, compile the data, and target based on that data with the offers and match the offers up. So with social, the underlying theme of social paid traffic is match your offer with your audience, right?
Yeah.
With a real estate agent, the offer is the house. And so if you throw an ad at an area where the median sold or the average sold house is $350,000, and you give them an ad for a house that's $1.2 million, they can't afford that house. So they're not going to get, they're going to be looky-loos. They're just going to be looking around. So different areas have different average sold and median sold home prices. If you can figure out a targeting strategy for each area and give them the homes that they are actually going to be interested in, can afford, you'll win. And then it goes a little bit further, because then you can start retargeting, and you can retarget people that open up your lead forms. But even if they didn't submit it, you can start giving them like your open house ads, and you can start giving them ads for, home buying appointments or home selling appointments or whatever the case may be. But you can basically structure this funnel to where you're basically applying the principles that every high-level marketer, I'm talking Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, all these big players, it's the same concept. It's just towards different niche. It's the same exact concept. So, paid traffic outside of Facebook is relatively expensive whenever you look at the actual numbers on Facebook. It doesn't really answer the question the way Trey wanted me to answer it, but
I think that's brilliant. It gives the mental mindset of what you should do to approach real estate that way, which you said someone looking at an ad for $1 million home won't likely buy that ad if they can afford only $350K. That's really important. That's a really good tip. I just interviewed Alan Kotlier just last week, or no, 2 days ago. I forgot how many days. But he works on a funnel that's a 5 times 2 comma club winning funnel for real estate. And he took us on a 3-hour deep dive into it, where all the automation of like every single call is tagged. If they go through the survey, which is like, oh, what's your median income? And it'll break it down. And then depending on the median income, depending on every single question they ask, they get tagged a certain way. Then they get split off to different email automation campaigns. And then the texting is added, and all the components. It's like this monster of a funnel that he took us through. And so I'm like, oh, but even with that, like what you just shared is something new and different than us looking at him go through that funnel, the way that you approach it, the mindset of it for real estate. So hopefully you guys got some, who asked? Trey, hopefully that answered your question. Let me know if you're getting value from this. I know you are, so smash that heart button and type in 44 if you're here live. Trey says, I'm focusing specifically on real estate gen and follow-up automation. The Facebook ads are easy. Is it worth stacking other traffic sources or not at all? Zip code targeting kills. They have discussed pulling it, I think. But yeah, whatever question you want to answer, Nate.
I would say that stacking traffic sources, one traffic source that I have seen people utilize a little bit with real estate, especially in the high, like luxury stuff, is LinkedIn, because they're going after these execs and these people that spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really good one, but you have to know your demographic on each traffic source. So LinkedIn is where you're going to go after like the professional people, but you have to understand that people are only on LinkedIn for an average of 30 minutes to an hour a day, and that's it. People are on Facebook and Instagram for an average of 3 hours to 5 hours a day, depending on what they do.
Yeah.
So if you do something on LinkedIn, it has to be very, very detailed, very targeted, super, just a laser strategy. But that's another traffic source that I have seen work. The great thing about Facebook is that you don't have to take somebody to a landing page anymore. You can use their lead forms. The Facebook lead ads work just, in my opinion, they work better than the landing pages do these days, because with the landing page strategy, you see a lot of fake email addresses. So you see a lot of people that put fake information in just to see the next step. With the Facebook lead form, I've just seen better email addresses out of it. I have. And the great thing is, if somebody opens up that lead form, you can start retargeting them based on the lead form that they opened up. It's a special custom audience. And so just like you were saying, like with the email strategy of, tagging this person and making these logical conditions with your CRM, for texting and calling and follow up, which is absolutely important. Mm-hmm. You can do the same thing in Facebook. You can retarget so many different things that you can basically make a map of all this stuff that you're retargeting. So, it's, as far as stacking traffic sources, I would say not to really worry about stacking traffic sources as much as stacking content in a retarget strategy on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, retargeting strategy. And Kevin had a question. He said he got banned from Facebook ads. What do you suggest? What advice would you give to someone who gets banned somewhere? Do they just try again, or try to get unbanned, or go somewhere else, or switch their career, change their life, sell their house?
You would be super surprised at how empathetic Facebook support is. A lot of people, and this is, so I actually used to work in support roles whenever I was first starting my career. I worked in support roles. I was like 23, 24 years old, working as a support person, doing my time on the clock and all that good stuff. One thing to absolutely get you no help is to complain to a support person in a negative manner and be mad and throw your crap everywhere and, you're not helping me out, blah, blah. I've seen so many people get their account out of Facebook jail simply by going to the support chat and being nice and saying sorry. Didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. Can you refer me to somebody that will help me out with the policies and procedures and all that stuff? Because Facebook has their policy handbook for everybody to see, but it's very broad. It's very generic. It's not very detailed. And so I've gone to bat for hours with Facebook support. One account that I had, we launched a supplement for a guy that has survived cancer. Oh. And the supplement that he made is the supplement that he took while he was going through cancer treatments. So you have to really, I had to really tread lightly, because I couldn't say that this stuff cures cancer, right? And Facebook, the first time I tried to launch an ad, Facebook disapproved it, of course. Mm-hmm. I go and get with support and talk to them. I'm basically like, guys, I made sure on the landing page and on the ad that nowhere did we make a claim that this stuff was going to cure cancer or anything like that. Facebook referred me to the top of the policy team, and I got my ad squared away. Everything was launched, whitelisted, good to go. I would say that the first place to start for somebody that gets banned, hit up Facebook support chat and plead your case. Beg, get on a bended knee and beg and ask for forgiveness, and you'll be surprised at the reception that you get.
Oh my gosh, that's gold. I'm putting that in the notes. So guys, if you're here live, smash that heart button and type 101 in the comments so I know that you're listening and you're here. And Nathan just told us a really good advice because of his own experience. If you get into Facebook jail, just be super nice and beg for forgiveness. Most likely that's gonna work better than if you're mad and you want someone to resolve something and you want to ask for the manager or something. All right.
It's not easy, because when you get, as Kevin is saying, when you get shadow banned, for instance, there's multiple levels that you have to work through. So you have to, the first person that you get on the support team is going to be a support representative. They typically work for a policy manager, and then a policy manager has a boss on the policy team that's like a policy director. And so there's steps that they can take to get it in and fix it. But I mean, to be honest with you, like, there's no real easy way to do it. You just have to go through the proper channels. And at the end of the day, if you get shadow banned, make a business manager and try to make a new ad account. That's basically the fastest way to go about it. A lot of people don't know that if you make a business manager, you can have multiple ad accounts inside of the business manager. And so, especially like somebody like this was just an old hack that a bunch of like CBD companies were trying to do. They basically made like 10 ad accounts, launched ads from all 10 ad accounts, and one would get shut off, of course, because it's not allowed. But they would throw as much money at these 10 ads account as they could, and eventually all the ad accounts would get shut off. But they at least had like 2 weeks where they could go, because they had multiple ad accounts inside the business manager. So that is another old hack that you can try, is creating a business manager and creating multiple ad accounts inside of the business manager.
Wow, I didn't know that. I do have friends who are in the restricted industry, and one person is selling a course actually on how to do restricted industry, like CBD. And I wonder if that's in her course. That's cool. Oh, wow. There's so many things. Hey guys. Oh, Edward says he keeps freezing up and sounds bad. Well, everyone has different types of internet connection, so just bear with us. But right now he seems to be smooth to me. Yeah, let me know if you're experiencing any issues with sound, with volume. I mean, that's the same thing. I made a business account and they got that too. Okay.
That sucks. I'm sorry, Kevin. I really don't know. Like, it's, I'm telling you, it's one of those things where you can get in any group and ask multiple people, like this whole banning thing, like when Facebook bans you and all that stuff. I've heard of people that have gone 6 months to a year, like trying to get their stuff. It's a process and it sucks. I understand. Those are basically the only steps that I can really give you.
Yeah. Hey guys, what other questions do you have? Because Kevin, sounds like you're running out of luck, Kevin. Just kidding. Yeah. So during this journey, I want to know, like, what trend do you see that's going on out there for, like, okay, here's a question I have. If someone is starting out and they don't have like this huge budget, which is most people, Is it better to just save up the money to pay an agency to run ads for them? Or do they do a mix of something? Or like, what do you recommend if they have a business? Let's say they do have stuff to provide and they're not just starting from scratch.
So there's two parts to this. First part is it depends on how established they are. Because if your product is not established yet, it's probably better to do some lower level testing with your product and your offer to make sure that your offer and your product are good to go. If your offer and your product are established and people have bought it and you just need more eyes, more traffic.
Yes.
The thing about it is it's going to take you, I always tell people, it's going to take you an average of, and this is the average person. If you're super smart, super tech savvy, like you read a book and you get it, I mean, it might take you less time. But on average, it's going to take somebody 3 months to understand the ins and outs of Facebook ads and Instagram ads. It's going to take somebody 6 months to a year to actually be able to form a very calculated strategy with Facebook and Instagram ads. So, I mean, you have to think about it. How much are you going to, what's the opportunity cost there of hiring an agency that knows exactly what to do day one versus taking 6 months to a year to learn how to do it? Like, how much money are you going to lose? How much money are you going to gain? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I hate when people come to me and they want me to help them out, but they're just starting out and they're dead broke. And it's like, I mean, because it's one of those things where I always try to give everybody the best experience that they can possibly get. If you're just starting out and you don't have a proven product, there's really no amount of traffic that's going to work. Because until you can prove that you have an offer and a product that is going to sell, I mean, I've seen lots of products, lots of offers. You can test it very easily. All you got to do is make a post on your Facebook page and say, how many of you would be interested in this, whatever product you have, and see if somebody likes it, see if somebody wants to buy it. If they like it, they like the price, then you have a proven offer and you have a proven product, and it's just a matter of scaling. The great thing about hiring an agency, though, is that you're typically going to get, and this is with a good agency, you're going to get really good consulting on how to not only do paid traffic, but you're also going to get really good consulting on how to scale. So a lot of the analytics behind it, a lot of the back-end marketing, like your email marketing and your messenger bot marketing, all that stuff comes into play. And if the agency can't really talk to you about like key performance indicators and macros and analytics and, very structured ways to scale the business, I would find somebody else, because what they're most likely going to do is just charge you to set up some ads. Setting up the ads, like somebody said, I think Trey or somebody else said it, setting up the ads is the easy part. It's the strategy, it's the scaling, it's forming your budget, it's allocating your budget, it's figuring out the content, it's forming the retarget strategy. What retarget audience are you going to go after? What content are you going to give that retarget audience? How many different avatars are you going to have? What's your customer profile? All of that stuff is like, when somebody starts to actually dig into it, the typical person just throws their hands up because it's so much. It's just too much. And a lot of reason why whenever I talk to people about Facebook ads, the first thing that they say is, man, I tried it, didn't really get anything out of it. And it's like, I understand, because you probably did it in the easiest way possible. And it's not, like I said, whenever I talk to these brains about it, it's not a 16-year-old in the bedroom on their phone doing this. I mean, it is an in-depth advertising platform. It's a super, super in-depth advertising platform. And I would say that hiring an agency, if you have a proven product and you have the resources to do so, absolutely hire an agency and just do your due diligence and make sure that they understand all of the analytics that's behind it. Make sure that they have a growth plan, a scaling plan, not just, we're going to make you 3 ads, we're going to make you 10 emails, you should be good to go. Not something like that. Don't pay people like that, because they're going to take your money and they're going to run.
Well, that is such great.
I've seen it, and I'm telling you, I've seen so many people that just, there's a lot of white noise out there that's a bunch of bullshit. It really is a bunch of bullshit. And that's one of the things, like, whenever I talk to these, like, anytime I talk to people about Facebook, that's the one thing you hear is, I've been ripped off. I've been ripped off. I've been ripped off. And it's like, there's just a bunch of fucking assholes out there ripping people off, and it sucks. So that's why I say, like, in order to do your due diligence, really make sure that they understand the analytics and the scaling behind it, for sure.
That's great advice, because when I go out there and I'm like, hey, I want someone to work on Facebook ads, they tell me, hey, I can set up 3 ads for this amount. And yeah, and without talking to you, I really wouldn't know, like, oh, wow, you really have to look at how they plan on you to scale, how they plan on you to have this future with your budget and everything else. It is more like, hey, I'll trade you like 500 for this, for putting up, and then that's it. That's like surface level. And you're like, stay away from those people.
Well, and the reason I say that is because there's 2 types of people when it comes to, like, paid traffic, advertising on social. There's the person that gives you this service package that says, I'm going to do this and you're going to pay me this much money. And then there's the person that says, I'm literally going to get you results. And if I don't get you results, you can fire me. Like, you're going to pay me this much money, and we're going to do the consulting, we're going to do the avatars, we're going to do the strategy, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, with me personally, like, when somebody comes to me and says, how much are you? How much do you charge? It really depends on what you want. Like, I can consult with you and I can tear your business apart, and I can talk to you about your avatars and your offers and all of this. I could spend 2 weeks with you. I could spend a week with you. It really just depends on what your business model is. And when somebody comes at you and says, I'm going to make you 3 ads, like, how do you know that's going to work? You know what I mean? If they can't tell you exactly how it's going to work, then they probably don't know. So it's that, like, that's why I said, like, it's really, you have to go through the weeds to really figure out, like, who the good people are. And the good people are usually the ones that understand that it's a consultative thing. It's not just a deliverable thing. You can't just say, you're going to pay me this much money and I'm going to give you this and I'm going to walk away, because it doesn't work like that. I mean, it's like, what if I get this launched and I'm getting clicks for $5? Obviously, it's not a very good ad, right? So I got to change it. And so, there's just, it's very dynamic. It's very agile. That's the first word that I use with anything that I do is agile. If somebody that, if you're talking to an agency and they don't give you an agile strategy, meaning, I'm going to look at my cost per click, and if it's this much, I'm going to do something else. If my cost per video view is this much, I'm going to do something else. If our cost per landing page view is this much, I'm going to do something else. That's agile. That means you're adjusting it on the fly on a daily basis. I get up in the morning and I have my reports. And my reports are, for me personally, I have my macro reports, which are like cost per click, cost per engagement, cost per video view, all that good stuff, daily basis. For the client report, I have cost of acquisition, average order cost, all that good stuff to basically show the profitability. So on a client basis, you're talking about profitability. But behind the scenes, if they're not looking at your macros and adjusting on a daily, weekly, sometimes it really depends on the budget. If you're super low budget, you can't adjust on a daily basis because your number of impressions and your number of reach is relative to the budget. So if you're spending $1,000 a day, you can adjust daily. If you're spending $10 a day, you're probably not going to adjust but once a month, maybe once every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, for instance,
Do you have a strategy when you scale a budget? Hey guys, hey Eric, thanks for joining us. Hey Kenneth, if you guys are here live, hashtag hello, and then smash the heart button. I want the rest of this group to know that this interview is going on, so I want to push up the engagement. And yeah, and what Nathan is telling us is super valuable. It's not until you sit down and hear from someone until you really know, because the world is just really noisy. And that's why I love having people who are experts on, so that you guys know, hey, this is what's really going on, behind the scenes. Yeah, Kevin says awesome value. Cool. Trey has a question. Do you have a strategy when you scale a budget behind an ad? But is that like ad specific question, or can that be?
it's actually there is a lot that goes into that. When you're working with low budgets, it's super easy. So if you have a $10 a day budget, it's really easy to just scale it up to like $15 a day.
Yeah.
It's really easy to just scale it up to $20 a day because you're not really going to burn through a whole lot of money. Like Facebook's not going to like take all your money and run with that strategy because it just takes too long for them to really like take your money because the reach isn't there. But if you're doing like high budgets, like, I've managed budgets that were $1,500 to $2,000 a day. And on that level, if I try to jump it up without a strategy behind it, Facebook takes your money. They don't give you the results. They just take your money. And then it takes them like 72 hours to optimize it all over again and yada, yada. And you've already spent $6,000 and you haven't gotten any purchases. And that sucks whenever that happens. The strategy that I have is twofold. The first one is you can always, by rule of thumb, scale 20 to 25% every single day. So if you're spending $1,000 and you're getting results, whenever I say results, I mean you want to set a KPI metric. If your key performance metric is, let's say, a lead cost of $3.50, and for 2 days in a row you've seen lead costs at $2.98, you can scale your budget 20 to 25% for the next day. And Facebook will typically be okay with that. Anything over 20 to 25%, Facebook starts getting a little haywire. There is also a software that I use that is called Companion Labs. And Companion Labs. Companion Labs does predictive analysis, and it actually gives you suggestions to scale your budget. Now, the great thing is when you start doing retarget levels is that you can control your budget. You can control your destiny in that because you're literally setting an audience that's your audience. Retarget audiences are basically your audience. So what I always do is, my strategy personally is to put about 50% of my budget on level 1, which is the top of the funnel. And then I will put about 30 to 40% of my budget on the mid-level. And then I'll put about 10 to 20% at the bottom of the funnel. That's to start. That's just the start. What you'll see is that your money will start to trickle down so that your retarget audiences are building as you're spending all this money at the top of the funnel. When your retarget audiences build, you can start taking money away from your top of the funnel and putting it towards the middle of your funnel and then putting it towards the bottom of the funnel. that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if I'm spending $100 a day at the top of the funnel and $50 a day middle of the funnel and $20 a day at the bottom of the funnel, after about a week, I can put 10 to $20 towards the bottom, 10 to $20 towards the middle, and take that money out of the top because I'm basically building that retarget audience up. And then once I've done that, once I've trickled that money down, then I can introduce some new content to the top of the funnel and inject more money into the funnel. So that's how I scale.
Wow, that's a really good strategy. That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yep.
I don't know why, but it's like reception on your end. I have no idea. Maybe you've been experiencing it, but it's like it makes you cut in and cut off sometimes. But I'm still getting the message through. Guys, let me know if you understood that. He said that that's his strategy. You get 50% top of funnel, you put your budget, and then 30 to 40% middle, and then 15 to 20% on the bottom. And when you first start going, and then you make more money, you can start using the retargeted audience and then inject more budget into the middle and the lower end of the funnel as you build out your audience to retarget. So that's really good advice.
Exactly. Exactly. Because the thing is with Facebook is that you can't spend money on an audience that isn't there. So like if your retarget audience is only 10,000 people, you can't throw $1,000 a day at that audience because the reach is going to go through it just like that, day one. So you have to really think about, like, rule of thumb is with your reach, you can typically do like, I want to say 10 to 30% of your reach in dollars for your budget, for your daily budget. So like if your reach is 100,000 people, you can scale all the way up to like, I think $10,000 before Facebook will start getting really wonky. Because you have to remember, with $10,000 a day, your reach is going to go like that. So if they can't optimize that on a daily basis, then the ad algorithm really gets thrown off. So you just have to make sure that your retarget audiences are built up before you throw money at them. And like you were saying, once that money gets trickled down, once the audiences get built out, you can start putting more money towards those every single day.
Wow, that's so good. Guys, let me know. That was awesome, right? Smash the heart button and type 99 in the comments. I've been putting my own comments in as notes because I realized after these interviews, but people always say, "Hey Kim, where are the notes for the interview?" I'm like, well, they're in the comments, so go read the comments. And guys, if you have a niche, any specific thing besides real estate, let us know so that maybe Nathan can give you like a strategy he's seen that's worked for your niche. So I feel like that is like super applicable, right in the moment kind of thing. Or maybe, I don't know. For me, I have a course that's $9.97. And in last month, we took in around 62 students for that course. So, but then that's like us, like just seeing how it goes with a webinar, no paid ads or anything like that yet. For a course, for a person with a course, what would you recommend them going into the paid ads route if they have something that is established, that, you know, we know how to do the webinar and we know how to, you know, we already have the structure in place for it? Sure.
So I've actually done this for, I would say, 10. Yeah, I think I've done 10 webinar clients over the past year or so. High ticket people, courses ranging between $997 to $4,997. And everybody's doing a webinar right now. Everybody. That's the first thing that you have to understand. Everybody's doing a webinar, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, because you have to provide that upfront value. You have to provide that education upfront for free so that they understand who you are, like what your business is, what your product is, what are you going to offer. And actually, let me bring something up on my second screen right here, and I'll actually talk to this.
Oh, okay. You want to share your screen or how? How? Glenn says 100, 100. Yay, Glenn. Glenn is in real estate too. There's a lot of people in real estate.
Okay, so I'm going to talk through the actual funnel first, like the concept of a funnel first. So the consumer stage of a funnel, top of the funnel is awareness. And what this means is that when somebody first sees you, their thoughts are, what are you offering? Who are you? Why do I need it? And what can you do to, what can you do? What can you provide to me? And so that's the first level. The second level is interest. In the interest stage, the consumer is thinking, is it worth it? Do I really need to pay for this? I need to see something without breaking my bank. This is where the webinar comes into play right here. Because with the interest stage, you can really drive somebody over into the third section, which is consideration. And consideration is, let me try this for a couple of weeks. This stuff has worked. All the stuff that I saw on the webinar, I'm going to put this into action and see if it works.
Yeah.
And if it works, then they are finally at the stage that's closer to the bottom of the funnel, which is, this product is really expensive. Like the 997 course might be expensive, but I'm scared, but I'm excited about it. I think it could work. And at this stage is the most crucial stage. This is where you can really drive somebody over the top with your email marketing, with any sales follow-up. If you have a sales team, I always recommend having a sales team for somebody to talk to, because at this stage, people are really interested in buying your course, but it's super hard to get somebody to buy a course through an order page without talking to somebody first. Super hard to do. And so at the different levels of the funnel, we have the solutions, we have the actions. At the top of the funnel, you're looking at level 1 ad campaigns, you're looking at lead magnets. You really want to give them some free value at the top of the funnel that kind of tells them what you're about. Maybe it's an ebook, maybe it's a webinar, maybe it's a lead magnet, a resource that they can use, something like that. Towards the middle of the funnel, you really want to drive the social proof. So, if 5 people have just killed it with your course, like get some ads out there with people that have killed it with your course, get them on Zooms like this, really go into a deep dive of like what your course did for them to show the social proof. And then on the final stage, you really want to get a sales team on the phone with them, or get a breakthrough session. Invite them to a Zoom with yourself. One of the things that I've seen is that people that own a course, you can probably sell somebody faster than anybody else could, because it's your course, you're passionate about it, and the person gets a little bit of screen time with you. Give them a 15-minute call, like just to kind of introduce them to the course and who you are and what you do, and they'll feel a little bit better about who you are and what you can provide to them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense as far as the funnel goes?
No, everything you're saying is what I'm implementing. And I'm like, oh man, I'm doing it right, maybe. I'm still new at this, but I'm like, wow. However, that's not like ads way. That's kind of like the flow of things, isn't it? Or is that like related to the ad itself? Or you're saying the testimonial is me getting someone on Zoom? Because I did that. I got someone on Zoom, interviewed them. And even, in this group too, one of my students came live in this group. He just launched an app, and it's so far really successful, around a week, and he made 2,000, and it's going to be monthly reoccurring for him. So it's actually really good. But then I never think of, that as an ad or anything like that. That's really
for sure. And what I have pulled up right now is actually a funnel sketch in paid traffic sections. What I have pulled up right now is basically how to take somebody from level 1 cold traffic to level 2 retarget, level 3 retarget, level 4 retarget. And this is a webinar strategy that I made for somebody about 6 months ago. On the level 1, they're looking at the registration plus giving a blueprint for free. Like, one of the things that I've seen increase conversion on webinars is if you offer a lead magnet with the webinar. So they can watch the webinar, but they also get like a free PDF or spreadsheet or something that goes along with the webinar.
Yeah.
Something tangible.
Yeah, we have a PDF.
Yeah. So offer that PDF with your webinar, and then when you get them into your email database, which this could be Infusionsoft, this could be ActiveCampaign, whatever CRM you're using, on the email strategy, you really want to make sure that you're driving home the social proof and the product feature. So I always talk about the pain and gain with the product feature. What's the pain that your consumer has, and what are they going to gain by purchasing whatever you have to offer? Pain and gain. So then you have your video sales letters, and with your video sales letters, it's really just, again, it's pain and gain. It's, here's the pain points of the industry. This is how I solve it. And you really want to connect to your audience on an emotional level. For instance, we did video sales letters for real estate agents, and it's like, are you tired of cold calling? Are you tired of, no business at your open houses? Are you tired of this? Are you tired of that? And they're tired of it. They're tired of getting on the phone with people. They're tired of door knocking. They're tired of all that shit. And it really just connects to somebody. So, when you can address that pain and then you can give them a gain, it really connects with them. And so then you just take them on multiple levels of social proof, lead magnets, value, get them on a Zoom call with you, and really close them that way. That's the best.
Bucket. What is that? What's the bucket?
The what?
The bucket on the top of your picture.
Oh.
You have a bucket. What does bucket mean?
Just a sec.
People are like, can we get a PDF?
No, you're fine.
Screenshot.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm an open book, man. I don't care. I'll give this stuff to anybody all day long. For the most part, people can look at these things, and like you're saying, I have to explain it. I can give this to somebody and they're like, it just, whatever this means, man. But like these buckets up at the top, what these are retarget buckets. So in level 1 cold traffic avatar buckets. So you might have 5 different avatars. What you would do is you would put these avatars into broken out ad sets, and that's your level 1 bucket. That's what I call a bucket.
Okay.
Level 2 retarget bucket, in this case, is page engagement and video views over 30 days. It's this little bracket right here is a pixel. So it's all the traffic that went to your webinar funnel. You can basically make your custom audiences for traffic, page engagement, video views, and you can put all of those into one audience, one saved audience called a bucket.
Yeah.
So that's what the buckets are. It's basically a grouping of audiences for paid traffic.
Okay, cool. And all those are pixels. All right.
And you'll see how the level 2 video views, the great thing about Facebook is that you can retarget specific videos. So if you have this video over here, video 1, you can retarget 10-second video views of video 1 and give them video 2. And then you can retarget 10-second video views of level 2 and give them this.
Can this
so on and so forth.
Can this apply to YouTube ads as well? Do you know? Jelani just joined us, and he's like a YouTube ads guy. So I'm just curious.
So yeah, it's that's why I say that's one of those things where, when we talk about hiring an agency or you talk about doing it yourself, that right there, what I just showed is a typical strategy for a webinar funnel. And if somebody doesn't know how to put all of those pieces into place, it's a puzzle. And if you don't piece all of the puzzle pieces together, it breaks.
Oh, man. That means that whatever we think we have to work hard at, just 10 times that. Like Greg Cardone says, you have to really put every piece in place. It's what I find But well, I know you're super busy. We had you on for an hour. Usually these interviews go for an hour, and uh, you clearly demonstrated you know what you're talking about. And I want my audience to go and find you out and hire you. Some of them have you know, not big budgets, but some do have really big budgets. So I want them to go and if you guys need an agency, Nathan Nathan is who you should go to. It seems from how you communicate today, at least to me, is that you're very genuine and you're not out there to you know, overcharge or to rip anyone off or run away with their money.
No, no.
So but yeah, thank you so much for today. Where can they go to find you? What website can they go to hire your agency?
So my agency is called Digital Nitro, and you can find us at digitalnitromarketing.com. Or if somebody just wants to look me up, look my name up, Nathan Otwell. I have a personal Facebook account, and I also have a business page that is Nathan Otwell, the Angry Marketer, which is a really fun page. If you have go like that page, because I do a lot of rants and whenever I talk about these people ripping people off, man, I go in on it. I really do. Like, it pisses me off just as much as everybody else, because it makes me look bad. It makes the industry that I work in look bad. And so whenever I see something that I don't like, I get on my page, I go live, and I talk some shit about it. It's really funny. So.
Oh, I'll go check it out. I really like it when people incorporate comedy into what they do. That's really cool. All right, guys. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much. You know where to find Nathan on theangrymarketer.com and digitalnitromarketing.com. I hope I spelled those two correct. But if not, I'm going to include it in the description on the very top of this. And thank you so much, Nathan, for spending your evening with us. And have a awesome, wonderful.
Absolutely, Kim. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Oh yeah, if you liked that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.